Franklinton's town council votes to remove a 3-year veteran of the police force who faces a charge of driving while intoxicated after a crash that seriously injured a Folsom man. State police are investigating the circumstances surrounding last month's crash.
Rob Masson has more from Folsom.
A 23-year-old Folsom man was on life support for 2 weeks after suffering serious injuries in a head-on collision here near the intersections of Highway 1077 and 1078 on the night before Easter. Former Franklinton police officer Leonard Holloway was booked April 22nd on 4 charges, including first-degree vehicular negligent injury, operating a vehicle while intoxicated, driving left of the center lane, and not wearing a safety belt. State police say Holloway's Ford F-250 truck crossed the center line at Highway 1077 and 1078 and struck another truck driven by 23-year-old Seth Clare of Folsom. Clare was rushed to UMC and was in a coma for 2 weeks and on a breathing tube.
Then on Monday morning, they started running all kinds of tests on a possible brain injury. And they, at this point, we really don't know the long-term effects.
Former Officer Holloway was traveling with his wife, a St. Tammany Sheriff's Office sergeant, at the time of the accident. They received minor injuries. Charges were filed against Holloway after surveillance video of the accident was uncovered. Bond was set for Holloway at $120,000, which he secured. The victim, Seth Clare, has a long road to recovery. The good news is he is now off of his breathing tube and he is undergoing rehab at a New Orleans hospital. From Folsom, Rob Masson, Fox 8 Local First.
Former Officer Holloway will be arraigned in St. Tammany Parish on June 7th. Louisiana State Police and St. Tammany deputies are looking into the circumstances surrounding the initial reporting of this incident.